I was a curious girl. I loved to explore. Every day was a new adventure, whether it was in my backyard or the nearby park. I would spend hours looking under rocks, climbing trees, and imagining all sorts of magical places. My curiosity knew no bounds, and I always felt there was something amazing just waiting to be discovered. One day I found a map. It wasn't just any map. It looked old and mysterious, with strange symbols and markings. My heart raced with excitement as I unfolded it. It was hidden in my attic. I had been rummaging through old boxes when I stumbled upon it. The attic was dusty and filled with forgotten treasures, but this map was different. It seemed to call out to me, begging to be explored. The map showed a secret forest. I was so excited. The forest was unlike any I had ever seen, with drawings of magical creatures and hidden paths. I could hardly believe my eyes. This was the adventure I had always dreamed of. I wanted to find the forest. I knew it would be a journey filled with wonder and discovery. I felt a sense of determination and excitement bubbling inside me.
Julia packed a bag. She knew she needed to be prepared for anything. She carefully thought about what she might need on her adventure. She put in her magnifying glass. It was her favorite tool for examining tiny details and discovering hidden secrets. She put in a notebook and a pencil. Julia loved to document her findings, sketching plants, animals, and anything else that caught her eye. Julia wanted to write down everything she saw. She followed the map. Her heart pounded with anticipation as she traced the path with her finger, imagining the wonders she would encounter. It led her down a path. The path was winding and mysterious, with twists and turns that seemed to go on forever. The path went through the woods. The trees grew closer, the sunlight faded. Julia wasn't scared, she was excited. The forest felt alive with the rustling of leaves and the distant calls of unknown creatures. She felt like she was stepping into a storybook. This was the start of an adventure. Julia knew that this journey would be one she would never forget. With each step, she felt more connected to the magic of the forest, ready to uncover its secrets and embrace the unknown. The map led Julia to a clearing. She had been following the ancient, tattered map for hours, through dense underbrush and over babbling brooks. The forest seemed to whisper secrets as she passed, its leaves rustling in a language only the trees understood. In the center was a single oak tree. It stood tall and proud, its presence commanding the entire clearing. The air around it seemed to shimmer with a magical aura. It was the biggest oak tree Julia had ever seen. Its trunk was so wide that it would take several people holding hands to encircle it. The bark was rough and ancient, telling tales of centuries gone by. Its branches were thick and gnarled. They twisted and turned in every direction, creating a canopy that blocked out the sky. The leaves rustled softly, as if sharing secrets with the wind. They reached out like long, knobby fingers. Each branch seemed to have a life of its own, moving gently as if beckoning Julia closer.
The map says to knock 3 times. Julia's heart raced as she read the instructions. She had come so far, and now she was on the brink of discovering the tree's secret.
Julia knocked on the tree trunk. She held her breath, waiting for something to happen. The forest seemed to hold its breath with her. Nothing happened. Julia frowned. She felt a pang of disappointment. Had she made a mistake? Was this not the right tree? Maybe this wasn't the right tree? Then she noticed something. A faint glow emanated from the base of the trunk, catching her eye. There was a tiny door carved into the trunk. It was just her size. The door was intricately carved with symbols and patterns that seemed to dance in the dim light. Julia opened the door and stepped inside. As she crossed the threshold, she felt a rush of warmth and light envelop her. She had entered a world of magic and wonder, a place where the whispers of the woods came to life. The world inside the tree was dark and cozy. It smelled like moss and rain. Julia took a deep breath. A pair of glowing green eyes blinked at her from the shadows. Julia gasped. A dragon! But this dragon wasn't scary. It was small and green, with shimmering scales.
Hello, I'm Fern. Are you here for the tea party?
Fern's voice was high and sweet like a bird singing. Julia smiled. This was going to be fun. Fern led Julia through a tunnel inside the tree. They came out into a bright, sunny meadow. In the middle of the meadow was a table piled high with delicious-looking treats. A giant, fluffy yeti sat at the table, carefully frosting a plate of cupcakes.
Hello, I'm Barry.
The Yeti boomed with a deep, rumbling voice, but his eyes were kind.
Want a cupcake? I made them myself.
Julia took a cupcake. It was the best cupcake she had ever tasted. After the tea party, Fern led Julia to a sparkling stream. A beautiful unicorn with a silver mane was drinking from the water. The unicorn looked up, her eyes wise and gentle.
Hello, Julia. I am Celeste.
Celeste dipped her horn into the stream. The water around her horn began to glow. When she lifted her horn, a single perfect water lily rested on it. Celeste gave the lily to Julia.
This flower will grant you one wish, but choose wisely. Magic is a powerful thing.
Fern took Julia to meet one last creature. It was a phoenix, with feathers that shimmered like rainbows. The phoenix perched on a branch, watching them with bright, intelligent eyes.
The forest is a special place. It is filled with magic, but it needs someone to believe in it, to nurture it.
Julia felt a warmth spread through her chest. She knew what she had to do. Julia held the water lily in her hand. It wasn't just any water lily, it was a magical one, glowing softly in the twilight. The petals shimmered with an ethereal light, casting a gentle glow on Julia's face. She had found it by the edge of the enchanted pond, a place whispered about in old tales and legends. The air around her seemed to hum with a quiet, magical energy, as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for her next move. She closed her eyes and made her wish. Her heart pounded with excitement and hope. She had always believed in the magic of the forest, in the stories her grandmother used to tell her. Now, holding this magical lily, she felt a connection to those ancient tales. She could almost hear the whispers of the forest spirits, encouraging her to make her wish.
I wish for the forest to always be a place of wonder and magic. Julia's voice was soft but filled with determination. She wanted the forest to remain a sanctuary for all who believed in its magic, a place where dreams could come true, and where the impossible was possible. She wished for the creatures of the forest to always be safe, and for the magic to never fade.
She whispered. Her words seemed to blend with the rustling leaves and the gentle breeze, becoming one with the forest. It was as if the forest itself was listening, taking in her wish and making it a part of its ancient magic. The air around her grew warmer, and she felt a sense of peace and belonging. The lily glowed brightly, then dissolved into shimmering dust. The transformation was mesmerizing, like watching a star burst into a million tiny pieces. The dust sparkled in the fading light, each particle carrying a piece of Julia's wish. It was a beautiful sight, one that Julia knew she would never forget. The dust drifted over the forest. It moved gracefully, as if guided by an invisible hand. The particles spread out, covering the trees, the flowers, and the ground. Everywhere the dust touched, it left a trail of magic, a reminder of Julia's heartfelt wish. As it touched the trees and flowers, they began to glow. The entire forest came alive with light, each plant and tree radiating a soft, magical glow. It was as if the forest was responding to Julia's wish, showing her that her words had power, that her belief in magic was not in vain. Sparkling lights appeared everywhere like tiny fireflies. They danced around Julia, filling the air with their twinkling light. It was a scene straight out of a fairy tale, a moment of pure magic and wonder. Julia felt like she was in a dream, surrounded by the beauty and magic of the forest. Julia laughed, her heart overflowing with joy. She felt a deep sense of happiness and fulfillment. Her wish had been granted, and the forest was more magical than ever. She knew that this moment would stay with her forever, a memory of the day she made a wish and saw it come true. She had found a magical place and made incredible friends. The creatures of the forest, once shy and elusive, now came out to greet her. They seemed to sense her pure heart and her love for the forest. Julia felt a deep connection to them, as if they were old friends reunited after a long time. She knew she would cherish this adventure forever. The forest had given her a gift, a memory of magic and wonder that she would carry with her always. Julia smiled, knowing that she had found a place where dreams could come true, a place where magic was real.